Hello, friends. How's it going? My name is Meg Moonbeam, and welcome back to my channel. This is your weekly astro weather for the week of February 22nd to February 28th. And we're going to do something a little bit special in today's weekly live stream astro weather, which is we're going to talk about our astrology for the week ahead, but I'm also going to do 12 sign readings for each of the sun, moon, and rising signs pertaining to this eclipse season that we are currently in. I'm filming this on Sunday, February 22nd, and we are within the portal, the threshold, if you will, between the solar eclipse in Aquarius that we had on February 17th and the lunar eclipse in Virgo that we will be having on March 3rd. So it's one of the most magical times we can possibly have in astrology for many different reasons, but we're literally in an eclipse season, an eclipse portal. So after we go over this week's astrology, which we have some wild things going on this week, as we did last week. We're going to make some predictions here. Then we'll get into afterwards the 12 sign readings for the eclipse season. Because eclipses, as many of you will know if you've been following my work for a while, I like to harp on, because eclipses are one of the most important things to pay attention to in astrology, that eclipses do not just have an effect for the eclipse day, right? Eclipses have an effect for weeks, even months before the eclipse, weeks, months, particularly the 6-month period after the eclipse. So paying attention to where eclipses are currently activating in your chart is one of the most important things that I look at astrologically in my own personal astrology when I'm working with clients as well. And yeah, it's a game changer. It has a very big influence on each of our lives. We're going to be getting into that. Before we get into the astrology, again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for all of your support here on the Meg Moonbeam channels. Really appreciate you all. And if you'd like to check out my offerings, my personal readings, webinars, courses, premium or astrology club membership, those are all available at megmoonbeam.com. The link is below. And today, Sunday, February 22nd, at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing the second astrology club class, a part of my new astrology club membership. Shout out to all our astrology club members out there. Love you guys, and thank you, and love you to all the premium members too. You guys help me do what I do, be an independent astrologer, mystic, artist. So I appreciate all the members very, very much for all of their support. And yeah, today's astrology club class will be on eclipses, since we're in an eclipse season, and pre and post natal eclipses. So if you'd like to join in on astrology club class, our monthly classes, monthly Q&As, special perks, discounts, all the premium benefits you get, go check that out at megmoonbeam.com. Link is below. And there is unlimited replay access to any of the classes, any of the live streams, all that kind of jazz. There was something else I wanted to say, and I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, yeah. Don't want to forget that coming up from Friday, March 13th to Sunday, March 15th, Sunny from Pluto and I will be at the Meta Expo in Toronto with our Scorpling Shop booth. So Sunny and I have a crystal and astrology online boutique called the Scorpling Shop, for those of you who may not have heard about it. And we will be live in person with our crystal and astrology and tarot magical offerings. So come visit us at our booth if you're in the Toronto area. That is going to be a lot of fun. Sharon in the chat says, hello, Meg, and everyone from beautiful Crow's Nest Pass. Uh-oh, what just happened to the camera? Yancy, we just had something happen to the camera. It just unplugged. The accessory using too much power to re-enable US devices. Okay, I guess we're going old school. We're going to be doing this with my laptop camera. Sorry, you guys. Mercury pre-shadow period. The camera isn't working. I'm just talking to Yancy in front of me. It's not working on here. So it says that too much power is being used from the adapter. Technical difficulties. Chicky Blue says Mercury retro shadow is busy. Yeah, I've been really feeling this Mercury pre-shadow period. Oh my God. Don't know about you guys, but that's one of the things I want to talk to you about in today's video. Mercury is going retrograde on February 26th. I'm actually going to do a whole other video this week just on the Mercury retrograde because there is a lot to unpack with that. So stay tuned, you guys. But yeah, we're going to go over the main points of our weekly astro weather. So, as we're going into this week, we are coming off the heels of a extremely 100 out of freaking 10 energy level of last week. Last week we had solar eclipse, 28 degrees of Aquarius, Saturn, Neptune, great conjunction, 0 degrees of Aries, which sometimes I see you haters in the comments. Okay. Sometimes I see you trolls in the comments. Sometimes there's people that say, Meg, nothing happened on the day of the eclipse. Nothing happened on the Saturn Neptune conjunction. Astrology isn't real. You're a bad astrologer. Okay. I know many of you guys know that these major transits, it's not just the day of the transit. It's for, oh, Jens is giving me a heads up. Try again. Okay, sorry, you guys. Let me try this again. Is it going to go off though? Okay. It's working again, but is it going to go off again? Because it said too much power. Okay. Thank you. Thank God for Yenzi. Sorry about that, you guys. Yeah, which I don't, it's just funny when people, trolls online or whatever, because, and we're already seeing it since the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, okay? President Trump says he wants to do disclosure and talk about aliens. How convenient of a time during the Epstein files. We have, some of you guys have maybe seen what's going on in frickin' Mexico. The cartels are doing a crazy war. Things are going wild. I'm going to share some clips in frickin' Mexico. Prayers to everybody out there. What else has been going on? Likely imminent strikes on Iran, possible Iran war starting. What else? There's so much. There's so much. So these major transits, yes, Montero says, priming for Project Bluebeam. I think so. Definitely. We need to be very, very careful. Yes, Sharon, distractions. Totally agree. So the effects of the solar eclipse in Aquarius, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, we will be having this in the days, weeks, and months to come. Oh, right, Dana. Thank you, Dana. Shooter killed at Mar-a-Lago, which I predicted that if you guys have been following me for a while. I've been saying that February and March, with the energy of everything that's going on in Trump's astrology, in the USA's astrology, it is indicating possible assassination or assassination attempts on Trump. Big time. And I'm not calling for an assassination of Trump. USA, please do not ban me from your beautiful country. But it's literally all in the astrology. So there is a lot going on. Let's bring up our chart, starting with today. So, we're starting off the week, as I said, off the heels of the solar eclipse in Aquarius we had just under a week ago on the 17th, where Saturn-Neptune conjunction was exact on the 20th. And this is, I'm feeling like the energy bubbling. We're about to have a blow up this week. Maybe even several blow ups this week. There could literally be explosions, bombs. I mean, we're seeing it in Mexico. The cartels are blowing up Puerto Vallarta, and I don't know if there's different areas. Let me know if we've got anybody actually in Mexico or knows what the heck is really going on with that. This week ahead is explosive. And I don't want there to be explosions. Let me be clear. I'm just reading the astrology. Okay. Why am I saying explosive? Because on Friday, February 27th, we are going to have exact Mars square Uranus. Uranus rules explosions, bombs, can be nuclear. Mars is war, attack, conflict, energy, military. So it doesn't mean there has to be the start of the war. It doesn't mean there has to be an attack, but based on what is going on right now and the lead up into this week, there's a lot of talk that Trump is wanting to attack Iran, possibly this week. This is a very big astrological possibility. And also, if I'm remembering correctly, let me double check. I think Uranus is in square to Iran's moon. Or no, sorry, you guys, let me bring this up. This is the chart for Iran. And Iran has its moon, the country of Iran, at 28 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is at 27 degrees of Taurus right now, right on the moon. And guess what? Iran and the USA have their moons in almost an exact square. USA's moon, 28 degrees of Aquarius, 27 degrees of Aquarius, has Uranus in square to its moon. That's the exact same astrological aspect we had when the attack on Pearl Harbor happened and the US entered World War II. And the solar eclipse that we had on the 17th, 28 degrees of Aquarius, right on the USA's moon, in square to Iran's moon, with Uranus, square Mars, right on Iran's moon, in square to the USA's moon. So this is looking like, and I don't want this to happen, but I think that it's very, very possible there can actually be an attack on Iran this week from the USA. And using my astrology astrology cap with my common sense cap at the same time. And also my intuitive cap, it feels like there are definitely forces that, and hopefully I don't get my freaking YouTube channel banned for saying what I'm about to say. Okay, but we're going to see more assassination attempts on Trump. We just had one, was it today or yesterday? Let me bring this up. Let me bring this up, go to my X and bring this up. Yeah, I should speak in code. It's kind of hard to speak in code when you're on the spot. Maybe there's a better way I can speak in that code. La, 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 la. Let me go down. I have so many bookmarks on here. Where did I see it? Where did I see it? Where did I see it? Okay. Let's just play this clip for a moment. Armed man. I'm not sure if this was, this was this morning. This morning, so today, there was an assassination attempt on Trump. Let's take a listen. Can you guys hear that? Wait, let me fix this. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that an individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene.
Wow.
I'll give you a picture of the shotgun and the gas can to have with you.
How freaking crazy is that, you guys? So there's somebody that literally today, as I predicted, with this Mars square Uranus aspecting President Trump's Mars in his 12th house, among many other things he has going on. This is extremely dangerous astrology right now for President Trump. And let me be very, very clear. I don't want anything to happen to President Trump. I'm not calling for that. I'm just saying astrologically, we're starting off the week with an assassination attempt. There could be another one. And there is a very big likelihood that USA will bomb Iran this week. Mars square Uranus, Saturn, Neptune conjunction, 0 degrees of Aries, war, military, conflict, escalation, right? Let me bring this back to our this is I'm having Spirit say right now, it's interesting because we had the solar eclipse in Aquarius last week. We're leading up to the lunar eclipse in Pisces on March 3rd. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction was February 20th, Friday. This is the week where shit really pops off. And it's already started, Sunday, February 22nd. Assassination attempt on Trump, and the drug cartels in Mexico are popping off. Let me share that for those of you who, I mean, this is unbelievable. There's tourists there, Western tourists. If you guys have not seen these clips, let me just share this really quick. Panoramic view of Puerto Vallarta. It's literally a war. It's literally a war zone. So this is a week to be all in a Mercury pre-shadow, and Mercury goes retrograde in Pisces at his detriment on Thursday. This is crazy town. Okay? And I'm sorry if I sound negative. I'm just being honest with you guys so that, you know, the astrology can help us be prepared for this energy and work with this consciously. I'm hearing Spirit say this is not a week to fuck around. This is not a week to fuck around in what you are spending your time doing, who you spend your time with, where you go. This is a very volatile week ahead. This is a very unpredictable week ahead with Mars square Uranus. And things are popping off this week. This is the pop off. This is the pop off. Let me fix the chart here. Let's bring this up to Friday, the day of the Mars square Uranus. Oh, why is that? Okay, there it is. So we're in Pisces season this week. We've got the moon in, what's the moon in right now, actually? Let me move this. I think it's Taurus. What are we, the 22nd? I've got my days all mixed up. Sorry, you guys, because we're in Alberta right now. Yeah, I'm right. Moon exalted in Taurus today. Tomorrow moves into Gemini. Tuesday, moon conjunct Uranus on Tuesday. I'm actually going to say, let me move this back here. I feel like If I had to pick a specific day that we could see a attack on Iran, which I do not want, I do not want to be right. Leaning toward Tuesday, February 24th, when the moon is conjunct Uranus in square to Mars. Could be Monday, could be Friday, the day of the exact Mars square Uranus. Yeah. Really hope that that doesn't happen. Really, really hope that doesn't happen. Bobby in the chat says, ugh, I don't want to drive this week. This is a week to be very mindful of driving. Anything that has to do with electricity, electrical equipment, vehicles, travel, all that kind of stuff. Be very, very mindful. Nomi, nothing will be the same. Yes, nothing will be the same after this week. That's for sure. So, you know, we've got Venus trine Jupiter today as I'm filming Sunday, February 22nd, which is actually really positive and lucky. I feel like the beginning of the week with Venus in trine to Jupiter, Mars sextile Chiron, Moon exalted in Taurus, it's actually lighter than the end of this week is going to be a totally different story. By the end of this week, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, starting on Thursday, the 26th, Mercury's detriment sign. He does not like to be there. Mars square Uranus on Friday. Moon will be in what sign? Leo? Moon will be in, Cancer, then Leo. So we're feeling it. Not a week to mess around. It's a week to lay low, take it easy, as I like to say, observe, don't absorb. There's going to be a lot of crazy stuff all happening at the same time. And yes, Lady of the Wild Rose, we're leading up to lunar eclipse in Virgo, 12 degrees of Virgo on March 3rd. And I'm hearing spirits say that, you know, many of the different things going on in the world, yes, they are happening naturally because the astrology is so crazy and intense. Yes, some of them are psyops and they're distractions to distract us away from things that are actually more important. But there's also the element of trauma-based mind control, where when we have so many different things happening all at the same time, it's a trauma-based mind control. If we really pay attention to that, if we let that overwhelm us, you know, ruin our vibe, mess with our vibe, it confuses us, it scatters our energy. And this bombardment of information overload and events, it's also a form of mind control. It's a form of programming to keep us in fear, to keep us in a low vibration, to keep us from feeling good, where you're naturally connected to your intuition and you're more protected energetically when you feel more grounded. So this week is very important. There will be continued intense events in the collective, possibly even in our personal lives as well, if you're a sign being really affected by some of the transits, which I'll talk about in the moment. But even though all of that is going on, we don't have to get swept up in that. And it's very, very important to remain grounded, remain as calm as possible, and don't just believe everything you see, especially with Mercury pre-shadow retrograde and going retrograde on the 26th. Okay. Yes, Montero, we need to stay in the light. And where was this other thing I wanted to bring up? Here. I mean, some of this stuff is so freaking predictable, right? So we had on, what day was this? Day before the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, President Trump put out on Truth Social, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Now, I am a UFO, alien, cryptid, weirdo, lover, and enthusiast myself. Okay? But yes, Gemma, illusion city alert. But this does not feel to me coming from a genuine place. I'll put it that way. It does feel like beginnings of a possible Project Bluebeam. It does feel like a mind control tactic to keep us scattered. Oh, we're going to go over here and forget about the Epstein files and forget about the list and forget about, all this other stuff. Remember that there's a lot of still confusion, lies, deception with Mercury retrograde in Pisces starting. This feels like, and I'm seeing a lot of you guys agreeing in the comments, and if you don't agree, that's totally okay. We can have different opinions. It feels like a freaking distraction. So I would be very wary if there's anything this week, over the next few weeks, while this Mercury retrograde in Pisces is happening, of any of this alien stuff being released. I would be very discerning of any of that. And, President Trump, look, I don't know him personally, right? What I will tell you, and I talked about this in my Trump USA astrology special that I put out a few weeks ago on my membership platform on megmoonbeam.com. I went into detail about how in his chart, he's got Pluto in the 12th house. And 12th house is hidden enemies. Pluto can be enemies. He's got a bunch of other things going on in the current transits, indicating this guy has hidden enemies around him. Okay, so he may be consciously putting some of the things out in a deceptive way. There's also, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to, save Trump and say there's nothing, he's doing nothing wrong. Just being objective and being objective as an astrologer and saying it is possible that because he's probably not an alien expert, he's the president, right? That there may be people around him trying to push for this disclosure that could be like a hidden enemy kind of thing. He's got Pluto in the 12th house, with Pluto in an opposition to his Pluto right now and other things going on. And Mars opposite his Mars in the 12th house. Uranus square his Mars. So there's just a lot indicating I don't feel everybody in his department is actually to be trusted. And I think there's actually some probably really nefarious people in that Trump administration. And that concerns me with the disclosure of ETs or these topics, which, okay, let's be real. We know this is real, you guys. If you are in the esoteric or the spiritual field, whether professionally or you're personally interested in it, we don't need the government to tell us that they're real. We know that they're real. And Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. The positive of Mercury retrograde in Pisces, even though that is very challenging and very illusory and very confusing, is it is a great time to make time for rest and relaxation and processing and creativity and deep self-care during this time of huge world changes and revealings. As we're in this year of 2026, the only major water transits that we're going to have are, of course, when some of the inner planets are in the water signs. When we have all the Mercury retrogrades this year will be in water signs, like this Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So I feel like this Mercury retrograde in Pisces time from February 26th to March 20th is a really good time to prioritize your rest and your self-care and your processing of what is going on, because there is a lot going on. If you try to push it too far, if you try to force things during a Mercury retrograde in Pisces, it's just not going to work. And stay tuned, you guys, because I'm going to do a whole separate video on that Mercury retrograde in Pisces this week. Mars square Uranus, it's volatile this week. It's trippy. It's weird. It's a wild card. And we're in a fire horse year. Oh my God, we're in the year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology with the Mars square Uranus. I just realized how, yeah, there's definitely going to be some sort of explosion where that's literally a bomb, which I do not want that to be the case, or a volcano or something. Something's popping off. Okay, so again, be very mindful and careful what you're doing, where you're going, who you're around. And by the end of the week, we have Sun conjunct North Node, Mercury conjunct Venus, which are good. So we've got some good things happening. We've got some challenging things happening this week. Support in healthy communication, in our relationships, and insights being revealed with that Mercury conjunct Venus. And Sun conjunct North Node is about destiny and fate. So this is a very fated week, fated time. What you do now is planting seeds for the future. Interesting, I'm hearing Spirit say that. We're in Pisces season. This is the end of the astrological year. We're reaping what we're sowing. And this is our natural time to not force it, not push it, make really good time for rest, reflection, remembering, creativity, so that we can be born anew at the astrological new year in the Northern Hemisphere on March 20th. And things will be confusing until then. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. We won't have the full clarity of what the heck is going on here until we get to that spring equinox, March 20th, which is the day Mercury goes direct, Sun enters Aries. That'll be a very big energy shift. So we're in a fog. We're in a fog right now of the spiritual war that we've been in. And it's up to us how we move through this fog. Are we going to move through it, completely attached to our phones and completely ungrounded and feeling like shit? Or are we going to move through it with patience, calm, meditation, prayer, discernment? Woo! Okay, I want to go through, yes, out with the old and in with the new. I want to go through each of the 12 signs readings for this eclipse season. So we're going to start with our Aries. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put this to, actually, let's put this to the day. No, I'm going to put this to the day of the solar eclipse that we just had. And move this over to Aries. So this really is, in my astrological practice, you guys, one of the most important things to pay attention to, where the current eclipse cycle is activating in your chart. Okay. I like that. Unreal Inventor says, this is the beginning, not the end. I totally agree. Okay, Aries, Aries, Aries. Do we have any Aries here with us? Aries, you have the solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th happen in your 11th astrological house. And you're going to be having the lunar eclipse in Virgo, 12 degrees, happen in your 6th astrological house. So, with you having the solar eclipse that we just had, Aries, in your 11th house, this is very powerful because it's cool. You have all the signs over all the houses that they rule in the solar charts, and new moon eclipses are about new beginnings, fresh new energy. So over the course of the next 6-month period until our next eclipse season, this is a time of major new beginnings, Aries. I'm hearing change, moving through unpredictable and unstable events as best as you can by being open to them. It's trippy. You've got the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in your sign. There's Saturn's in your sign, Neptune's in your sign, Chiron's in your sign. So you're probably, if you're in Aries, going through some sort of big life change or upgrade. I like that you have the solar eclipse in Aquarius in your 11th house as an influence over the next 6 months, because it's helping you to be open to change. It's good for you to try new things. It's good for you to go to new communities and community events, networking. There can be new friends, new groups coming into your life, totally new subjects that you may be interested in coming in. So I would say, key takeaway, be open to change and new things that may seem weird and unexpected, but can actually help you be on the right track moving forward. Helpful people are around. And with that lunar eclipse in Virgo that we're having on March 3rd, 12 degrees of Virgo, in your 6th astrological house, this is indicating that from now until the next 6-month period, until our next eclipse season, there's ending, completion, healing occurring in your 6th house of health, day-to-day routines, work, your schedule, pets, animals in your life, your day-to-day office space. So it is an important time, Aries, to be taking care of your health. There can be health breakthroughs over the next 6 months. There can be the end to a health issue over the next 6 months, the end of a job, the end of a way of doing a routine. I really feel like for many Aries, your whole life is going to change over the next 6 months in a way that can be something you never even expected. Maybe there's a new subject or a new line of work. Some of you might start working with friends or spending more time in a totally new community. So it's very important, Aries, with the energy of this eclipse season, to be open and to let go of stagnant work roles, income streams. If there's been a health issue going on and you've not been taking care of that, it is a good time over the next 6 months to be taking care of that. And maybe change your schedule, Aries. Change the schedule, change the routine to help you move past stagnation and best move forward into the future. Sending lots of love your way, Aries. Hope that resonated. Etheric Energy Exchange says, yeah, no big deal, just total life changes. Yeah, I mean, seriously, for Aries, it's like you guys are just going through absolutely huge freaking life changes. So go with the flow. Let me know how you're doing. And I'm sending lots of love your way. All right, next we have our Taurus sun, moon, and risings. And I invite you guys to listen to your rising and sun signs. Most importantly, I forgot to say that earlier. Also listen to your moon sign for more personal, emotional interpretations as well. So my fellow Tauruses, we had the solar eclipse in Aquarius in our 10th astrological house on February 17th. And we're going to be having the lunar eclipse 12 degrees of Virgo in our 5th house. Yay! Okay, 5th house is good. 5th house is very fun. We'll get to that in a moment. So that solar eclipse in Aquarius in our 10th house over the next 6-month period is bringing in change, new beginnings, innovation, creativity into our work, professional life, and long-term goals. This is a good 6-month period, Tauruses, to be starting a new job, to change the energy of your professional life, your responsibilities. Many Tauruses may step into fields that are more Aquarian in nature, such as technology, IT, inventions, innovation, astrology, spiritual science, things that have to do with the future and futurism. AI can be that as well. But it's important to be aware, Taurus, of the innovations that are happening and how that affects your work. And there will be upgrades. We've got, Pluto in Aquarius in our 10th house too. We're going through very big up level in our professional life and with our long-term goals. So shoot for the stars. This is very potent and positive for work and responsibilities out in the world. The lunar eclipse in Virgo, 12 degrees on March 3rd, is happening in our 5th astrological house. And lunar eclipses are, again, endings, completion, healing. So Tauruses, we are receiving healing energy when it comes to the 5th house of our inner child, our gifts and talents, being in the spotlight, fun and play. Even though it's a lunar eclipse in the 5th house, this is inviting us over the next 6-month period to bring more fun into our lives. How, Taurus, can we bring more fun and creativity? Many of us might even start entering creative work roles as well, getting back into a form of creativity that's maybe been on the back burner, okay? Can bring more fun into life when you've got eclipses, whether they're solar or lunar, in the 5th house. Also, Taurus, you are more fertile than usual, okay? Eclipse in your 5th house. There can be many Tauruses getting pregnant, having a child, becoming a grandparent. So it is the healing of your inner child and your confidence, but it's also illuminating and bringing new energy into that 5th house area as well. So I'm so happy because we had Uranus in our sign for 8 years. That will be over on April 26th. That's been pretty gnarly and intense. And it's more of a fun energy with eclipses in our 5th house. Tim, you're hilarious. Tim says, Meg making more music and Alberta babies. Yes, well, definitely I'm going to be making music sooner than making babies, but one day there will be a Jens Jr. born in Alberta. Let's just say it that way. You're so funny, Tim. Yeah, so Tauruses, this is very, very good for us. I feel like we have eclipses happening in empowering houses. These are very, very empowering houses. And again, I know I keep saying this to us over and over again, but we are going through a big up level and upgrade in our professional life with those eclipses in our 10th house, with Pluto there. And there's more confidence that we're feeling. And I'm hearing the word opportunity supporting us as well. So hope that resonated, Tauruses. Happy eclipse season. Let me know how you're doing in the comments below if you're watching the replay. Next, we've got our Geminis, our Gemmies. Geminis. I'm going to take a sip of water. So Geminis, you had the solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th. In your 9th house, you're going to be having the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd in your 4th house. And this is cool. Solar eclipse in Aquarius in your 9th house over the next 6-month period. This is very cool new opportunities and change and new beginnings when it comes to your beliefs, your wisdom, higher knowledge. There can be, for many Geminis, maybe a new course that you're starting to master a subject. Many Geminis may step into a teacher or a mentorship or a guide role. You could be finding a new teacher, studying a new subject, studying something Aquarian like astrology or spiritual science or technology, AI. I know people get really triggered sometimes with the AI, but the AI is going nowhere. We're entering the age of Aquarius. We've got Pluto in Aquarius. Gemini, you're an air sign. You're one of the smartest signs in astrology. So it's actually really good for you guys over the next 6-month period. Maybe you want to take an AI course. Maybe you want to take a content creator course, something to help you with the change that is bringing us into the future instead of being resistant to that, which you guys are usually not a very resistant sign. So new learning, new courses, new travel. There can be unexpected travel, Aquarius in the 9th house. Unexpected new foreign people or opportunities coming in. Good time to publish things out in the world. And then we've got that lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd in your 4th house. For many Geminis over the next 6-month period, this could be the completion or ending to a home situation, a place that you've been living. There can be family members that are going through a lot over the next 6-month period where maybe your attention is needed in that area of life. And definitely a very powerful time for healing work emotionally and spiritually with the lunar eclipse in your 4th house. Of course, the 4th house is the Cancer ruled areas of life. The 4th house is the house of Cancer, the moon, Cancer ruled by the moon. So, Geminis, over the next 6-month period, you're wanting to learn. There's opportunities to learn. There's opportunities to just travel and expand your worldview. But there's also opportunity for major healing work, emotional healing work, ancestral healing as well. And some of you Geminis might feel really complete, as I said, with a place that you've been living and might be wanting to live somewhere new, move to a new location. I think many Geminis might even move to a foreign country or totally new place over the course of the next 6 months to a year. So, Geminis, hope that resonated with you. Happy eclipse season. Let me know what's going on, and I'm sending a lot of love your way. Next, we move on to our Cancers. Cancers. What the fuck? Okay, excuse my language, but what the F is going on with the Cancers right now? That Aquarius eclipse that we just had on February 17th happened in your 8th house of Scorpio, the most intense house and sign in astrology. So you've now got eclipses over the next few years in your 8th house in Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 18 years, 19 years in your 8th house. Transformation, Cancers. You are going through a huge period over the next, not just 6 months, but 2-3 years of transformation, death and rebirth. You guys are going through a total death and rebirth. Many Cancers right now in this eclipse season, you might feel like you're going through a very big rebirth. You're having major downloads or insights. There could be, eclipses in the 8th house. This can bring challenge. This can bring extremes. This can bring life-altering events. For some Cancers, there could be maybe the death of a loved one. Not always when we have transits in the 8th house, but for some of you, there could be a figurative death. For some of you, there may be a literal death. 8th house is death, rebirth, shared resources. It is investing and hidden money. So Cancers is actually a really good time with eclipses in your 8th, Pluto in your 8th over the next 6 months to be investing, okay? Passive income streams, merging deeply with others on a soul level, soulmate relationship, and definitely make time for healing, therapy, shadow work when needed. Okay, Cancers? It's easier to have a solar eclipse in your eighth house than a lunar eclipse in your eighth house, but it is still very, very intense of an energy. So you want to be mindful of that. Virgo eclipse on March 3rd is happening in your third astrological house. This is definitely a lighter energy. So this is bringing in an influence of endings, completion, healing to how you communicate, your local neighborhood, your friends, and local community. Over the next 6 months, Cancer, some of you may be ending certain friendships, roles that you have in your local community, if there are any, ending maybe a pattern, way of doing social media or working with technology. You know, the third house has a lot to do with technology and social media, as does the 11th house as well. And I always say the third house is like the busy house in astrology. There can be a lot going on, a lot that's coming to an ending point in your day to day, in potentially relationships as well, how you communicate out to others too. So definitely the lunar eclipse in your third house is lighter than the solar eclipse you just had in your eighth house. But it's also good. I think this is a good time, Cancers, for you to be like, whether it's doing talk therapy, talking to a therapist or spiritual psychotherapist, or doing journaling, things that have to do with your words and talking with an eclipse happening in your third house is really good. At this time, maybe you want to share your voice more online, do a blog, start a channel, can be a really good time for that as well. So Cancers, it's intense, y'all. You just had your first Aquarius eclipse in the eighth house with Pluto in the eighth house. Be mindful of that. Okay, it's a very big period of transformation. Powerful. You're lucky you've got Jupiter in Cancer, because that's definitely lightening up. It's not like a dark night of the soul period for Cancers, but definitely a very intense energy for sure. Sending lots of love your way, you guys, and happy eclipse season now and beyond. Next, we've got our Leo sun, moon, and risings. How's it going, Leos? You had the solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th in your seventh house, and you will be having the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd in your second house. So that solar eclipse in Aquarius is the first of many eclipses to come over the next, is it 2 or 3 years? Let me check here, you guys. Upcoming Aquarius. 1 second. So we've got, this is the first of 1, 2, 3. This Aquarius eclipse is the first of 4 Aquarius eclipses that we have coming up. And this Virgo eclipse on March 3rd is the second last Virgo eclipse in this cycle. So that seventh house is very, very activated for really the whole next 2 to 3 years, Leo. So solar eclipse in Aquarius with Pluto eclipse in Aquarius in your seventh house from now really for the whole next 2 years, but especially this next 6-month period. New relationships, obligations, contracts. Seventh house is love and committed relationships. So Leos, this is a time, if you are single, to mingle, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, this is what everybody likes to hear, but you want to be careful because Pluto's in your seventh house. So yes, love life is very highlighted, Leos, but with Pluto in your seventh house as an overarching theme with the eclipse there, this can be attracting intense romantic relationships, intense partners. Many Leos have been going through breakups, divorces with Pluto in the seventh house. You're upgrading your committed relationships in love and work specifically. And there's going to be very new beginnings and fresh new energy in that department, very strong over the course of the next 6 months. You may start to commit to more Aquarian type of people in your life. There can be partners coming in that are different from the usual that you've been with before. Seventh house is not just love, it's also committed work partners and anybody in life that we have a committed relationship with, such as a therapist or a doctor or a dentist. So it's a good time to be creating those kind of committed relationships in life too. The Virgo eclipse on March 3rd is going to happen in your second astrological house. This is a lunar eclipse. So over the next 6-month period, there could be endings, completion, healing happening in the second house of your values, self-worth, income, abundance, sense of pleasure and enjoyment in life, and physical resources. This is a good time, Leo, over the next 6 months to clean out house, to clean out your physical possessions. I'm hearing Spirit say this is going to help you feel so much lighter if you do that. It's also a very healing time for your self-worth, for your confidence, for your relationship with money as well. Many Leos may have the ending of some sort of job or income stream over the next 6 months, and a new one can be coming in during this period as well. And Leos, you have Virgo in your second house. So it's actually very good for you to be making money day to day in ways where you feel Virgo-esque, like you're being of service, you're bringing a healing energy to people, service roles, the health industry, nutrition, Leos. Have I been calling you Virgos? Leos, you are very, very loving. And it makes sense that you have Virgo as the sign ruling your second house because you do like to heal people. You do like to bring a healing energy, whether you're literally in a healing art or not. So the way you make money needs to feel good as a Leo person. And you need to feel like you're helping people in the process. So just be mindful of that. Not heavy houses that you have the eclipses happening in, but although you do have Pluto in the 7th house with the eclipse there. So there's intense dynamics happening in relationships. And if there's a relationship that's out of alignment, it will be eclipsed out, very likely over the next 6-month period. Thanks so much, Leo. Sending lots of love your way. Next, we go to our Virgo sun, moon, and risings. Virgos, you had the Aquarius solar eclipse on February 17th in your 6th house of Virgo, the Virgo ruled areas of life. And you will be having the lunar eclipse in Virgo, your sign, on March 3rd. So Virgo, this is a very potent eclipse season and whole next 6-month period for you as we're having an eclipse in your sign. Oh my God, there can be very big things happening. When we have eclipses in our sign, there can be big life events. And this is in your first house. This is how you show up to the world. This can be your work. This can be having to do with your relationships, the foundation of your life. I know some Virgos that are going through some very intense things right now that are really going through, since we've also got the South Node in Virgo too. Virgos that I know are going through really big karmic healing situations. So Virgos, know that you're in this next 6-month period right now where the South Node is in your sign, eclipse in your sign, March 3rd. If there is a lot going on at the same time, you are not going crazy. You are going through a very big karmic clean out, if you will. It's very in alignment to be doing conscious healing work during this time. There can be major life endings that make way for new beginnings over the next 6 months. That solar eclipse in Aquarius in your 6th house is bringing fresh new energy and opportunities when it comes to your health, day-to-day routines, schedule, work, office space, and pets. So you can have some very positive new beginnings and opportunities in those areas as well. But you're definitely Virgo is one of the signs being very intensely affected by this eclipse season and its effects for the next 6 months. So being mindful of that, sending lots of love your way, and see you next time. Okay, Libras, how is it going? All my Libras out there. Solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th happened in your 5th house. Woohoo! We'll talk about that. And lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd is happening in your 12th house. This is very, very interesting. So that solar eclipse in Aquarius that we just had, from now over the next 6-month period until our next eclipse season in August, it's bringing new beginnings, fresh new energy, and opportunities in your 5th house of your confidence, being in the spotlight, showcasing your gifts and talents, creativity, children, your inner child. Many Libras may be starting a new creative project. It's good for you to put yourself in the spotlight. It's good for you to be confident. I'm hearing spirits say, believe in yourself. Also, many Libras may be getting pregnant or starting a family, becoming a grandparent. There's a new relationship, renewed relationship to the inner child and children in life. Fun and play. This is the house of fun. Yay, it can be a fun time. That lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 12th house is bringing in massive, massive clearing energy on the soul and karmic level. Okay, so I'm hearing that many of you Libras, maybe you've been having vivid dreams. Okay, over the next 6 months, you can be having very vivid dreams of the past, literally past lives, or in this life of the past. You're processing a lot through your dreams, through your sleep time. It would be good over the next 6 months, if you are Libra, to maybe go on a spiritual retreat, to do like a spa day or a spa weekend. Make time for self-care, because you are letting go of a lot on that spiritual level. And there is a need for rest as well as play. So Libras, very, very cool, very creative as well. Eclipse is happening in 2 of the most creative houses. So Libras, you can be feeling renewed creativity, creative inspiration. Maybe some of you Libras might even step into new work roles that are literally in the creative arts or in the spiritual arts, or bringing more creativity into your day-to-day workspace. Sending lots of love your way, Libras. Next, we've got my fellow crazy Scorpios. How are we doing, Scorpios? Scorpios, we just had that solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th in our 4th house. And we will be having the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd in our 11th house. So this is really interesting for us, because if you look at Pluto, okay, our modern day ruler is right at the bottom of our freaking chart in our 4th house, conjunct the IC, with now an Aquarius eclipse has just activated that 4th house. Oh my God. Scorpios, we are feeling the feels, okay? We can be more, and I've been experiencing this, we can be more moody over the next 6 months, emotionally reactive. We're having a lot coming up emotionally. 4th house is emotions. I highly recommend, because we are a volatile sign. Okay, let's be honest, Scorpio. I highly recommend, if you are a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, that you be doing on a regular basis some sort of therapeutic practice or modality, so that we don't project our intense feelings and possible mood swings and stuff that's coming up from the past. The 4th house is the past, ancestral healing, onto others, because it can be scary. Okay, we can be scary. We can be really intense. We are processing through a lot emotionally. It is a bit of a challenging energy with the 4th house so activated, and we're already so emotional and kind of naturally volatile. So Murdoch says 6 months of mood swings. Geez, yeah, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't mean that we're going to feel like shit for 6 months. It's just that there can be emotional highs and lows. We're very affected by the moon cycles over the next 6 months. Scorpio is very affected. So please pay attention. Thank you so much for the Dana for the super chat. I appreciate you. Dana says, Scorpios, I've wanted to crawl into my cape. Yes. I've been feeling the same. I've been feeling like more like, I need to really like make time for good sleep. And Jens has been seeing my husband. Like sometimes I'll just have little Scorpio freakouts, the stinger comes out. I'm really grateful that he's very patient with me as a Sagittarius with my Scorpio side and doesn't take things personally because we can be destructive. We can be destructive and we need to be very mindful what we're projecting outward because our energy is so freaking intense, right? So we're feeling very emotionally intense. Positive of this Aquarius eclipse in our fourth house is it's bringing new beginnings into our emotions and our emotional well-being. Homes, many Scorpios are moving over the next 6 months, including myself. And if you're not literally physically moving locations, it's a good time to bring new energy into the home. Do feng shui, start a family, start working from home. There's new energy, Aquarius, coming into the house, the emotions, the family dynamics. There can be sudden Aquarius healing breakthroughs with family members and family dynamics as well. That Virgo eclipse that we're going to have, on March 3rd is happening in our 11th house. So there can be ending, completions, healings happening when it comes to our friends, community associations, long-term goals, wishes, and dreams. These are all 11th house of Aquarius areas. And there's definitely also a lot going on with the people in our lives, in particular friends or people that we may work with online, be associated with online or through community. So, and again, feeling to say this, Scorpios, we love to be there for people and help others that we care about. We're very, very passionate, but you need to take care of yourself first with this very strong fourth house activated right now, because we're also like cancers over the next 6 months with that eclipse activating our fourth house. So we can be taking on more from others that's not necessarily ours. We need to be very mindful of our boundaries. And of course we can be there for people, but we want to be aware of our high sensitivity at this time. And because of the high sensitivity, thank you so much, Cosmic Cavalier, for the super chat. Because of the high sensitivity, there can be maybe changes in relationships or groups that we're associated with. Cosmic Cavalier says, Scorpio, Aries, Gemini, thank you for all the constant podcasts. Aw, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Montero says, my husband and I are both Scorpio moons, so we will feel the lunations intensely. Yes, definitely. And Scorpios, you'll notice over the next 6 months, when the moon is in Aries or Scorpio, we will be the most, I use the word volatile. We will be the most on edge. We'll also be very sensitive when the moon is in Cancer or Pisces, and maybe acting a little bit like hypercritical when the moon is in Virgo. So be mindful of those days with those moon signs. Love you guys. We're going to be okay. Don't worry. We can handle it. Okay, Saggy-Waggies are Sagittarians. You are having you just had the Aquarius eclipse on February 17th in your third house, and you will be having the Virgo eclipse on March 3rd in your 10th house. So over the next 6 months, there can be very big new beginnings, opportunities, fresh new energies. Sagittarius, in your local community, with your friends, how you communicate, social media. I'm hearing a lot of Sagittarians are going to be writing a book, starting a podcast. Specifically, I'm hearing a book, or you're writing something down. You're writing something. that's going to be seen by others. There may be more written projects that you have to do. Maybe some of you will be getting into more online roles, Aquarius, in your work, or utilizing social media more. Having Aquarius in your third house, Saggies, this is very good astrology that you have for utilizing social media, marketing, networking. Great time over the next 6 months to be going to community events, meeting new friends, making new contacts. Good for business, entrepreneurship. There can be fun and unexpected short distance travel coming up for you guys as well. This is a fun energy. I feel like this is fun for Saggies. I feel like this is bringing in, over the next 6 months, a very fresh, fun energy, which is great. The Virgo eclipse on March 3rd, happening in your 10th house, is bringing in healing, endings, completion when it comes to the 10th house areas of your long-term goals, your work, responsibility, relationships with elders in your life. So this is a time where maybe there's goals that have come to a completion point. Maybe there's some goals that need to be reset, a work role that has come to an end. New work roles can be coming in over the next 6 months as well too. So I like this. I like where these eclipses are happening for you, Saggies. I feel like it's lifting up the energy. I feel like it's bringing in more abundance, fun, play, and opportunities to bring you into alignment. And I'm so excited for my Saggies out there, okay? Because when we get, just moving ahead one moment, within the next 6 months, end of June, June 30th specifically, Jupiter enters Leo. And guess what, Saggies? Your planetary ruler, Jupiter, is in your 9th house of Sagittarius of Jupiter. This is so positive and lucky. You guys are already lucky duckies. But I'm feeling right now the energy is really lightening up for Saggies this year a lot. So take that in, Sagittarius. You deserve it. If you've been going through a challenging time, okay, I feel like things are lightening up. You got all those transits that were in Pisces getting out of your freaking 4th house, going into the 5th. So we've definitely got a big lightening up happening. Okay, love you guys. See you next time. Capricorns, my fellow crazy Capricorns, how are we doing out there? Cappies, Cappies, Cappies. Okay. Solar eclipse in Aquarius that we had on February 17th happened in your 2nd house. Lunar eclipse in Virgo that we are having on March 3rd is happening in your 9th house. So Saggies, you're going to love, Saggies, Capricorns, Cappies, you're going to love anything that has to do with money and making more money, new income streams, money, all Capricorns like that. So Aquarius eclipse in your 2nd house over the next 6-month period, there are new income streams, new ways of making money, new opportunities. I'm hearing spirits say, will you take them, Capricorn? Okay. Aquarius is the future and innovation and new things. Our sister sign. Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn. We are ruled by Saturn as Capricorn placements. There are opportunities there, but are you going to say yes, and are you going to be open to them? Okay. We are the hardest sign to snap out of the matrix, and we are one of the most stubborn. I don't care what anybody says. Capricorn can actually be very stubborn because Capricorn is history and tradition. And this is the way it has been, and this is the way I'm going to keep it. Well, actually, Capricorn, Aquarius is in your 2nd house. So if you want to keep being a boss and keep being a badass, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to achieving your goals, you're going to have to keep up with the times. Okay, you're going to have to keep up with the times. I think over the next 6-month period, this would be a great time for you to maybe take a course or a workshop on new ways of making money. Okay, AI, investing, budgeting. This is a good time for finances and for making more money, which I know Capricorns like to hear. It's also a good time for renewed value and self-worth and new, Aquarius's new pleasures and enjoyments coming into your life. So that's great. Virgo eclipse on March 3rd is happening in your 9th astrological house. So this is a time over the next 6 months of healing energy, endings and completion when it comes to your beliefs, foreign travel, higher learning, teachers or guides. Many Capricorns over the next 6 months will be traveling and going through, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I don't know why. 1 second, Capricorns. Traveling to places that bring healing. I think it would actually be good for you guys if you are traveling, which I'm going to be honest, lunar eclipse in your 9th house, you actually have to watch out for foreign travel. Okay, if you do foreign travel, Capricorns, over the next 6 months, it has to be very intentional. So, for example, I know most Capricorns aren't like the silly example I'm about to say, but just giving a silly example. If you're a Capricorn, you're like, I'm going to go to Cabo for a week and get fucked up with my girlfriend, right? It's probably going to be a really bad trip and you're not going to have fun because that's not intentional, right? If you're a Capricorn that's like, I'm going to go on this freaking men's retreat that's happening in Tennessee to help heal my inner child, that's going to actually be a very good trip. So mindful travel, if you do travel, mindful travel. There could be the endings of teachers, guides, like people that you've been listening to, that you've worked with, that it comes to a completion point. 9th house is our teachers, guides, that kind of stuff. There could be the ending of a belief, a spiritual practice, a subject that you've been learning as well. But even though it's a lunar eclipse in the 9th, it is the house of luck and expansion and travel and a lot of really positive things. So overall, it's a very positive influence. Okay, Capricorns, hope that resonated. And next we're going to move on to our Aquarians. Well, aren't you guys the stars of the show with the Virgos? Aquarians, we just had that solar eclipse in Aquarius, your sign, on February 17th. And we're going to have a Virgo eclipse, lunar eclipse, on March 3rd in your 8th house. Okay. I feel like you guys and the Aries have, and the Virgos and the Cancers, but you and the Aries, I think, have the most intense astrology right now with this eclipse season and over the next 6 months. So, first of all, solar eclipse in your sign with Pluto in your sign. This is extremely potent new beginnings and life change. I'm hearing Spirit say, ride the wave, ride the wave. Be open, say yes, say yes. New beginnings, starting new things, believing in yourself, moving past stagnation, stepping into leadership, stepping into confidence. I keep hearing for you, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. Huge life new beginnings over the next 6 months, and you being initiated even further into the Aquarian way shower that you are. Very powerful stuff. And that lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 8th house, whew, with Pluto in your sign, major clearing out of what no longer serves you, any toxicity, if there is anything like that. You're one of the signs, Aquarius, that I highly recommend doing a regular healing or therapeutic practice because there can be so much coming up for you at this time. It reminds me of me, actually. It reminds me of me and my current transits I've been having for the past year. There's just been so much for me personally coming up in so many different avenues. It's like, there's this over here, and now there's this, and now there's this. there's a lot coming up for Aquarius. You're going through like a fast track, clearing out of what no longer serves you and up leveling into who you truly are. So if you're an Aquarius and you're doing something really out of alignment right now, this is going to be hard. I'm going to be honest. If you're an Aquarius and you're working on yourself, you're being mindful and intentional, this can be a kick-ass next 6 months. Okay. So what energies are you feeding and does it serve you? Very important to be aware of. Sending lots of love your way, Aquarius. Hope that resonates. Next, we've got our Pisces, our magical Pisces. How are we doing? Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. Solar eclipse in Aquarius in your 12th house that we just had on February 17th. Lunar eclipse in Virgo happening on March 3rd in your 7th house. Wow. So solar eclipse in the 12th house, which is your house. It's the 12th house of the Pisces areas of life. You are in your element. You are being empowered. You are feeling creative. Saturn and Neptune are out of your signs. Woohoo. Okay. This is, I'm feeling like an empowering time for you. Use your Pisces superpowers wisely. This is a great next 6 months to work behind the scenes. Be creative. Be in your spirituality. Make time for really good rest and relaxation and processing of all the crazy shit that you just went through with Saturn and Neptune in your sign. Highly creative and spiritual time for you, but not in a heavy way like you've just gone through. This is in an up-leveling way. This is in an inspiring way. 12th house also has to do with faraway distant travel. So many Pisces over the next 6 months, you may be like traveling to a conscious festival, Aquarius in the 12th house, going on a spiritual retreat, visiting a sacred site, taking a course on a new subject in a different place or a faraway place. That can be coming up for you, for many of you, rather. So this, it feels exciting. I like the energy of this. Exciting and uplifting and not boring. And you being in your element and your Pisces gifts in an intentional superpower way. That Virgo eclipse on March 3rd, lunar eclipse, is happening in your 7th house. So over the next 6-month period, yes, there can be endings, healing, completion in some relationships or some contracts or obligations that you had. But the 7th house is also other people in your life. So over the next 6 months, there can be a lot going on for the other people in your life where you may need to be in a supportive role for friends or family or for a lover. Okay. And there can be work contracts that are coming to an end, Virgo, work, 7th house contracts and obligations. I feel like this feels like a very inspirational and new energy with that solar eclipse in your 12th house, where some of you Pisces over the next 6 months, and this feels like a theme for a lot of the signs, you may be starting a completely new job, in a completely new field, a completely new relationship, total new life change. And that can affect relationships and the contracts that you've already had, right? So the endings, if there are any that goes on with relationships, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. It doesn't feel like a dark night of the soul. It feels like things that serve you for your highest good in moving forward. Hope that resonates, Pisces. Sending lots and lots of love your way. And wow, I think that's a record for me. I just went through all the 12 signs and the collective kind of what I had to talk about at the beginning in less than an hour and a half. Maybe I did a little Aquarius time warp or something like that. I don't know. But thank you all so, so much for joining me. I'm going to go get ready because in 20 minutes, I'm going to go host Astrology Club class number 2 over on my Astrology Club membership, go check it out at megmoonbeam.com. Today's Astrology Club class will be on eclipses and pre and postnatal eclipses. If you'd like to join me in my membership, I have two different options, Premium and Astrology Club. You can go read the full description over on my website. That's where you get my full uncensored astrology and magical content. And yeah, if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, check out my webinars, courses, all my offerings. The links are in the description box below. Sunny and I, in the next, is it 2 weeks? In less than 2 weeks, we will be launching our new Cosmic Alignment Astro Calendar for the natural astrological year. We've been working very hard on that. Sunny has badass, amazing new art for this year's calendar. So you guys are going to love it. So excited for you to see it. And yeah, come join us if you're in the Toronto area, March 13th to 15th at the Meta Expo. Sunny and I will be at the Meta Expo at our Scorpling Shop booth. We will have lots of magical new Christies, astrology offerings. We will be doing limited astrology and intuitive tarot readings in person. So come check us out. Go check out the Meta Expo. Love you all so much. This is a wild eclipse season that will have effects for us the whole next 6 months to a year ahead. Very grateful to be here on YouTube, Rumble, and X as your astrologer. And I will see you all very soon. This week, I will be putting out a Mercury retrograde in Pisces survival guide. I will also be putting out my March 2026 astrology video and maybe something else that's a surprise as well. So wishing you all the most magical eclipse season ever. Week ahead, it's a wonky, volatile week ahead, but we're going to get through it, you guys. This is where the astrology is helpful for us to be mindful of that. And see you all very, very soon. Lots of love, everybody. Bye.